Hello, this is Lynn Madijan from Madijan's Herbals, and today is the second installment of Summer Bugs. We're going to talk about mosquitoes tonight, and then the next 2 weeks we'll talk about fleas and flies, and then we'll change from summer bugs to something else. So tonight we're going to talk about mosquitoes, and then we're going to make some mosquito repellent, which I'm going to take with me camping. So I think last time I went camping, I got eaten by mosquitoes. And I found some really good information talking about what causes sometimes people to get bitten by mosquitoes. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the problems that mosquitoes can bring into our lives. And they're not just annoying and make big bites and itching and stuff. They actually spread killer diseases, and they are often called one of the most dangerous animals on the planet because of those. It is, if they have time to bite you, that's all it needs to do to in turn spread a fatal disease. So half of the world population is considered at risk for diseases transmitted by these mosquitoes, and other blood-sucking things like sandflies, ticks. They do the same thing, and the World Health Organization has a slogan for those kind of little critters, and they call it "Small Bite, Big Threat." So globally, the deadliest of the creatures that carry and cause these diseases are the mosquito. There are 11 scientifically valid reasons why they're the worst. Number one is mosquitoes put 40% of the world at risk for dengue fever, which causes the feeling of broken bones. It hurts so much that it's commonly referred to as breakbone fever. It is the most rapidly spreading mosquito-borne disease in the world, with 40% of the world currently at risk. Between 50 and 100 million people get dengue every year. Even though it's not usually fatal, it's still a leading cause of death for children in certain Latin American and Asian countries. Mosquitoes also spread yellow fever, which is the original viral hemorrhagic fever. Yellow fever infects about 200,000 people a year and kills 30,000. It's a viral hemorrhagic fever that has no treatment. After a period of severe illness, most patients recover, but about 15% enter a toxic phase where they start to bleed internally and have organs begin to fail. About half of the patients who enter this toxic phase die. It says that the cases of yellow fever have been increasing since the 1980s due to declining human immunity, deforestation, climate change, increased air travel, and higher infection rates in cities due to a particular brand of mosquito called this is Latin, it is the Aedes aegypti. However, there is an effective vaccine for this fever. One dose provides lifelong immunity, and many countries won't permit travelers to enter without proof of vaccination. Mosquitoes are behind the recent outbreaks of chikungunya, which can sometimes lead to agonizing pain. The painful and potential debilitating virus has been around for centuries, but just appeared in the Americas for the first time around 2013. It is mosquitoes scoff at national borders, turning isolated cases into outbreaks. Any person infected with a mosquito-borne disease can carry it to a different country, where it can spread if they are bitten by a local mosquito upon arrival, which happens frequently. So an individual wouldn't infect another individual, but if that initial individual is bitten by the mosquito, that mosquito will carry the disease. In 2007, an older Italian man returned home from a trip to India, unknowingly having been bitten by a mosquito carrying that, I can't even say that chikungunya. Upon returning home, he visited a cousin, and within 3 months, more than 200 people had been infected with that disease. So one mosquito, that's what it started. Mosquitoes infect us with nasty bird diseases like the West Nile virus. Although the West Nile virus is carried by birds, humans can catch it too, usually from a mosquito that bit the bird first. It is also, they don't play fair. They target some people more than others. I am one that is targeted a lot. If there's a mosquito in the area, let me tell you, it'll find me. Some people are mosquito magnets. They're drawn to the smell given off by the bacteria that lives on everybody's skin. And some people give off an odor that makes them especially attractive to these tiny beasts. And contrary to what a lot of people say, eating garlic and using natural repellent doesn't do much, if anything, though DEET-containing bug repellents are indeed effective. Okay, now I'm going to argue that one. I can tell a big difference if I have put a mosquito spray on me, and if I have, and mine is all natural, made with water and apple cider vinegar and essential oils. And there's a huge difference in that. So that was Big Pharma, I think, that put that one in there. Mosquitoes spread Rift Valley fever, which can blind people and bankrupt farmers. Rift Valley fever mostly affects animals, but mosquitoes can transmit it to humans as well, where it causes pretty horrific symptoms. None of these mosquito-borne diseases look like a walk in the park to me. They're all pretty horrible symptoms. They cause permanent disability around the world. Lymphatic filariasis, a mostly neglected tropical disease, and 1/3 of them are disfigured and incapacitated by it. They spread fatal diseases to children. They spread malaria, which still causes hundreds of thousands of deaths each year. Between 2000 and 2012, there's been a dramatic reduction in malaria deaths, 42% globally. Even so, an estimated 627,000 people died from malaria in 2012 alone. So they're pretty horrible diseases, and they're hard to get rid of. They don't need much to survive. Just any small water container or anything that will catch rainwater is enough to be a breeding ground. Mosquitoes are also becoming resistant to commonly used insecticides, which are used to treat their bed nets. They also travel quickly. The Asian tiger mosquito, which is known to carry yellow fever, dengue, and the chikungunya, has spread to 36 states since first showing up in the United States in 1985. Its vehicle of choice, used tires. Tires commonly hold standing water, which makes them an ideal breeding ground for mosquitoes. Worn-out tires that are sent from rich countries to poor countries, where they are often fitted with new treads and then sent back to the countries they came from. And on both routes, they may carry the mosquito. It's a serious problem that entomologists are looking for ways to incorporate insecticides into their tire rubber so that it happens. So the first thing you need to do, if you are at home and suffering from mosquitoes, is look for standing water and make sure that that standing water goes away. I think that down in California, what they used to do is they used to spray an oil over any standing water, and what that would do is suffocate the mosquitoes. I would look into that before I tried doing it and make sure that you get the right kind of oil, but very definitely make sure that you don't have standing water. So if you have a bird bath, make sure that bird bath gets cleaned out regularly so that it doesn't get green and end up as a breeding nest for mosquitoes. Now, if you are aware that you don't happen to have the smelling capacities of a mosquito, the things you can eat can greatly affect the chemicals that you release, and therefore your fragrance. So some of the fragrances created by your diet are unappealing to mosquitoes and or otherwise will mask your natural aroma. Mosquitoes repellent foods can make it more difficult for mosquitoes to find and feast upon you. So what kind of foods and what kind of plants do you want? So in your yard, citronella grass is a very popular and widely known mosquito repellent. So, put some by your doors. Basil is also a mosquito repellent, and you can plant that around where you are putting your time in. So if you have a little deck, that would be a good thing to put where your deck is. It is the oil. Once the oil is extracted from the citronella, you can put it on your skin. It is photosensitive, so you need to be a little bit careful if it's real sunny outside. It's a tropical plant, so it doesn't winter well here, but you can always get it in the summer and in the early spring and plant it and have it grow throughout the summer. So catnip, marigolds, and rosemary are other popular and familiar mosquito repellent plants. These herbs are scented with oils that mosquitoes and other bugs find unattractive. They avoid the plants, which hopefully translates to a reduced mosquito population in the immediate area. Catnip is a perennial herb, so you only need to plant it once, and will come back every year. Marigolds are annual, and you would have to plant it every year to do it. And rosemary is a tropical plant. Now, rosemary can overwinter here fairly good unless we have a particularly cold and snowy winter, and then you can lose your plant. So if you don't plant it in the ground, if you do plant it in the ground, make sure you put mulch around it in the winter. If you don't and you keep it in pots, then you can just bring it in the house and overwinter in the house. Now, sage is another plant that is a mosquito deterrent. And what I do, and I'll be doing this weekend, is I will take sage and I will take rosemary, and I will fold up an aluminum foil packet, put the aluminum foil packet in the put the rosemary and the sage inside the packet, poke holes in it. Now I'll be using dried, and then so I poke holes in it, and then I will soak them so all of the dried herbs then get rehydrated, and then I put it in the campfire, and that will help. The smell of those things cooking will keep the mosquitoes away a little bit. So that's another way you can do it. Other herbs are clove, thyme, cinnamon, lavender, peppermint. All of those have different mosquito repelling activities. So that's topical. If you want to change your diet, there's that will help your individual scent. Now, garlic and onions are probably one of the best known linked to deterring mosquitoes. It has a compound known as allicin, which is released through your pores when you consume it. And if you're eating like a ton of garlic, sometimes people will smell garlic on you when you walk by, and then you've probably eaten too much. But you don't need that much for the mosquitoes, because they've got much better noses than we do. It is allicin depletes the longer it is exposed to heat. So eating raw onions and garlic is the best way to use that for a mosquito repellent. But you'll still get some of the allicin, even if it's cooked. So that's something that you can do. Now, apple cider vinegar is commonly used in mosquito repellents, and that's what I'm going to use in my mosquito repellent that I'm making today. It alters your scent. It makes you a little less appealing to the pesky mosquitoes. It will not affect how you smell to people. It is, you can take a tablespoon of undiluted apple cider vinegar at least once a day to keep the mosquitoes away for good. You can mix the dose with honey, and that is makes it taste a little bit better, and it is and will still be giving you exactly what you need. Now, you can use apple cider vinegar as an oil and vinegar salad dressing. You can put it in cocktails. You can, there's a lot of different ways you can put that into your diet. When I make bone broth, I put apple cider vinegar in the bone broth, and you don't taste it. So it works out perfectly. So lemongrass contains the oil of citronella, which is a popular natural bug repellent. And you can eat lemongrass in your salad, or you can apply it to your skin. It is it's used in many styles of Thai cooking and makes a great addition to soups and curries. It would make a good dinner, if you're doing an outdoor barbecue. Now, chili peppers also works because of the capsaicin. Now, if you have ever touched a chili pepper and then touched your face anywhere around your eyes, it burns. It is that's the voice of experience there. I have done that, and man, it is not good. It is. I would be careful. I'm not a big hot chili fan, and I don't think that I would put it on a topical repellent, because if you have any kind of a cut or open sore on your body and you put something with capsaicin in it, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad, and so be careful with that. It is. If you put it in chili or something of that nature, it's going to be okay because you're taking it internally. But watch what you do with putting it in a repellent. So tomatoes. Tomatoes are rich in thiamine, also known as vitamin B1. Many people suggest a diet abundant with thiamine can be very effective at deterring mosquitoes and some other bugs, though this has faced some debate in recent years. If you get bit, you can rub the juice from your leftover tomatoes on the affected area to stop the itching. It is tomatoes are real easy to get put into your diet. Tomato juice is one of the ingredients in Bloody Marys. So if you're out camping and having a good time, a Bloody Mary might be the way to go to get the mosquitoes to leave you alone. It is, if you're making dinner with it, you generally will add onions and garlic along with the tomatoes, and so that makes it just a real potent amount of food to get rid of mosquitoes. So grapefruit is an excellent source of vitamin C and health-boosting antioxidants. It is also, it repels mosquitoes because of a compound called nootkatone, which is used both as an insecticide and natural pesticide. You can use, obviously you can eat a grapefruit, and that's good for your diet as well. Or you combine it with other fresh fruits or citrus fruits to create a salad. And that grapefruit is also going to be photosensitive, so you don't want to necessarily put that on your skin. Beans and lentils work like tomatoes because they are also rich in thiamine. And I always like taking, if we're going camping early in the year where it's a little bit cool, chili, I love eating chili out by the fireplace. So that's pretty, those are the things that you can eat if you are living in an area where you see a lot of mosquitoes and you don't have a means of getting rid of them. Now, here's where I fall down, okay? And that's foods to avoid. Foods that make you smell really good to mosquitoes. And one of them is beer. It is, they have no idea why it attracts them, but it does. And consuming even small amounts still provide the enticing smell to the mosquito. Salty foods, because that produces high amounts of lactic acid, which has been shown to attract mosquitoes. That's why you are more prone to mosquito bites if you are exercising, because you're producing that lactic acid. Sweet and sugary foods also. So, I mean, I got to tell you, that's like all my camping foods. Salty foods, sweet and sugary, and beer. So that is not helpful. It is... the reason that they say that the sugar and the sweet foods cause these mosquito bites is simply because then, yeah, your sugar, your perspiration in your skin is sweeter, and so it is something that the mosquitoes like. Now, if you get bit, one of the best things that I have found personally is tea tree oil or tea tree ointment, and I usually carry both in my car when I'm going camping. And when I get bitten, the first thing I do is put tea tree on the bite, and it holds down the swelling, because mine swell pretty good. So it holds down the swelling, and it also does stops the itch. Now, another thing to be aware of is aspirin will stop itching, because itching is classified as a minor pain. Now, to me, itching is a major pain, but it is, as with being a minor pain, it actually, the aspirin or the Tylenol will stop the itching. Now, the other thing that you have to keep in mind, though, is how much of it you're taking, because if you're taking a lot, then you're upsetting your liver and your kidneys, and you don't want to do that. So, I have got the recipe here for my mosquito repellent, and I will put it tomorrow morning on the video. I'm going to tell you what it is now, but I'm going to write it down so you'll know what you need if you want to make some. So now you can use witch hazel, or you can use apple cider vinegar. Now, if you're using the apple cider vinegar, you want to get the apple cider vinegar with mother. So I don't know if you can see it, but it says, where you go, right there, apple cider vinegar with mother. Now, that means it's fermented. And so that's what it is that you want. Now, you can also use witch hazel, which is an astringent, but the astringent is just a means of making it into a spray and allowing the essential oils to emulsify. So since we know that apple cider vinegar also helps repel, I like to make mine as strong as I can. So this is an 8-ounce bottle. That's a lot of mosquito spray. But I go camping with 13 people. And so I'm making the big one so that we have enough. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put 4 ounces of apple cider vinegar in here. Now, the thing about apple cider vinegar, and any vinegar, is it's got a pretty strong smell. But once it dries on your skin, you won't smell it anymore. So it's not like everybody's going to walk around saying, oh, good gravy, you smell like apple cider vinegar. Now you're going to put in 4 ounces of water, which also helps with the apple cider vinegar smell. You can't use just water, because if you use just water, then the essential oils are not going to, emulsify through the water, and you'll have all of the oils sitting on top, and you've got your spray nozzle, which comes from the bottom, and so you're essentially just spraying water on your skin. So you have to have something in there to emulsify, to break the tension of the water, and that's what the apple cider vinegar is doing. Now I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 oils that I'm going to put in here, and I am going to put 10 drops of each oil in here. So the first one that I'm using is sage, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And then I am going to put lavender. Well, where'd the lavender go? There you go. So next I'm putting lavender in. And then lemongrass. Now each of these little bottles hold 100 drops of oil, and so you could make 80 ounces of this mosquito repellent if you wanted to use the whole thing. So as you're looking at the cost, most of these oils, actually every one of the oils that I'm putting in here at my shop, are $5 for this size bottle for 100 drops. So it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's $35 in oils, but you're going to get 10 bottles this size of mosquito repellent. And actually, each of these oils also have other properties. So lavender will help you go to sleep. So you can use it on the bottom of your feet and go to sleep. Eucalyptus, which we'll be using, will open up your sinuses if you have a sinus infection or if you've got a stuffy nose. Rosemary helps you remember. It works on your memory and helps you remember better. So, there's a lot of different reasons that you could use these oils, that it's not just for mosquito repellent. Now, and this one is rosemary. Okay. And then we have eucalyptus. Got tea tree. And citronella. All right, and that's it. You're going to put your cap on it, your spray cap, and then just shake it up. And now I'm ready to go camping. It's all done. And this will be enough for me, actually, for the entire summer. And I will probably keep it in my car, simply because I don't have many mosquitoes here at my house. But if I go someplace else, then I can do that. So that recipe will be put on the video, and it is and if you need anything, I have everything except for the apple cider vinegar at the shop. Do be careful that you get the stuff with the mother, because there are others apple cider vinegars that are apple cider flavored vinegar, and that's not the same thing as the vinegar with the mother. So Friday is the new moon, and we're going to be doing the new moon on video from the Stilly River, which is where I'm going to be camping. And then the 23rd is the full moon, and we'll be back at the parks. So the 23rd will be at Wiggum's Hollow, and we're going to walk the labyrinth. We will be doing still videoing it as well. So if you are not in a position to come see us and do it with us, we'll still be doing the video. And we'll be also doing Llamas at the on August 11th or August 1st, I'm sorry, on at Langus Riverfront Park, and we will be creating a Spirit of the Harvest. That's the first of the harvest festivals. And so what you will need to bring with you is some plant matter that we can tie to an effigy that will be the Spirit of Harvest. And then once we get him made, it'll be sitting in the shop for until Halloween, until Samhain, which is the last of the harvest festivals, at which point in time we will we will sacrifice the effigy. So that's what we've got going on, and I thank you for watching, and I hope that you are able to join us online on Friday, and both either online or by or at the park on the 23rd. So we will be the rest of this month, we will be doing still summer bugs, which next one will be fleas, and then we will be flies. And then we're going to start doing some medicine, some herbal medicine, and looking at the medicine chest. So again, thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.